I would start with the statement made by the Pope on 6th May upon receiving the Charlemagne Prize. He said, "We are asked to promote an integration that finds in solidarity a way of acting, a means of making history. Solidarity should never be confused with charitable assistance, but understood as a means of creating opportunities for all the inhabitants of our cities and of so many other cities to live with dignity. Time is teaching us that it is not enough simply to settle individuals geographically. The challenge is that of a profound cultural integration." In our day, migration is a growing worldwide phenomenon, as we all know, with 1 in every 7 persons on the move. Refugees and people fleeing from their homes challenge individuals and communities and their traditional ways of life. At times, they upset the cultural and social atmosphere which they encounter. More and more, these people become victims of violence and poverty, leaving their native lands. Unfortunately, they are often exploited by human traffickers, as we all know, during their journey towards the dream of a better future. If they survive the abuses and hardships of the journey, then they have to face latent suspicions and fear. In the end, they frequently encounter a lack of clear and practical policies regulating the acceptance of migrants and providing for short or long-term programs of integration respectful of the rights and duties of all. This reality cannot leave us without being moved to act, to be in solidarity with these brothers and sisters of ours who are truly suffering. In the message of the World Day of Migrants and Refugees, the Pope said, "Today, more than in the past, the gospel of mercy troubles our consciousness, and it prevents us from taking the suffering of others for granted. And it points out the way of responding which, grounded on the theological virtues of faith, hope, and charity, find practical expression in works of spiritual and corporal mercy." At the very heart of this call to solidarity rests the necessity for each of us to see every human person as truly a brother and sister, someone like ourselves. Migrants and refugees are not our enemies. They are our brothers and sisters in search of a better life, far away from poverty, hunger, exploitation, and the unjust distribution of the planet's resources. We are meant to be equally shared by everybody. All of us should want a better, more decent and prosperous life to share with our loved ones. We must go beyond mere lip service to concrete action where we acknowledge that each of us is truly responsible for his or her neighbor. We are our brothers and we are our sisters' keepers wherever they live, concerned for fostering good relationship with the others, and the ability to overcome prejudice and fear are indispensable elements, as we all know. Unfortunately, the grave lack of political will on the part of the international community to respond to the numerous crises now facing the world is indicative of a lack of true solidarity. Too often, nationalistic, economic, and military interest deny the basic and sincere concern we should have for the lives of so many people that are suffering. Such an indifference perhaps indicates that the human family is undergoing a phase wherein the human person fails to value the dignity of others and therefore even denigrates his own very dignity. It is precisely here where religion can play an important role of reawakening the moral conscience of humanity, moving toward a greater appreciation of the dignity of all persons, and from that recognition to be moved to act on behalf of those who are suffering. For this context of solidarity, the Church speaks for and stands at the side of all who work to defend each person's right to live with dignity, first and foremost by exercising the right not to emigrate and to contribute to development of one's countries of origin. This process should include, from the outset, the need to assist the countries which migrants and refugees live. This will demonstrate that solidarity, cooperation, international interdependence, and the equitable distribution of the earth goods are essential for more decisive efforts, especially in the countries of origin where migration movements begin, to eliminate those imbalances which led people individually or collectively to abandon their own natural and cultural environment. In any case, it is necessary to avert, if possible, at the earliest stage, as we all hope and we all are trying to do, that the flight of refugees and the departure as a result of poverty, violence, and persecution. I think the words of the Pope, which is so vocal on this issue, as we all know, during his recent visit to Lesbos in Greece, captures very well the call to solidarity that we are given. In the first place, we must uphold, quotation, a humanity that before all else recognizes others as brothers and sisters, a humanity that wants to build bridges and recoils from the idea of putting up walls to make us feel safer. In reality, barriers create divisions instead of promoting the true progress of peoples, and divisions sooner or later lead to confrontations. To be truly united with those forced to flee their homelands, we need to eliminate the causes of this dramatic situation, says the Pope. It is not enough to limit ourselves to respond to the emergencies as they arise. Instead, we need to encourage political efforts that are broader in scope and multilateral. It is necessary, above all, to build peace where war has brought destruction and death, and to stop the scourge from spreading. To do this, resolute effort must be done to counter the arms trade and arms trafficking and the often hidden machinations associated with them. Those who carry out acts of hatred and violence must be denied by all means of support, strong words of the Pope. Cooperation among nations, international organizations, and humanitarian agencies must be tirelessly promoted, and those on the frontiers must be assisted, not kept at a distance. Thank you for your attention.